Original, you're choosing a farmer over your own family. My father's voice boomed across his mahogany-filled executive office. This is insanity, paraphrased. My father's voice, loud and forceful, filled his opulent mahogany office. You're picking a farmer over us, your family. This is absolutely crazy. Original. Sarah, you've lost your mind. He slammed his fist on the desk, making his CEO of the Year award rattle. P-A-R-A-P-H-R-A-S-E-D. Sarah, you're out of your mind. His hand crashed down on the desk, causing his CEO of the Year trophy to shake. Original. My mother sat in her designer suit, dabbing at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief, while my younger sister, Madison, stared at me like I'd grown. A second head. Paraphrased. Dressed in a designer suit, my mother delicately wiped her eyes with a personalized handkerchief, while my younger sister, Madison, looked at me as if I were a complete stranger. Original. My name is Sarah Mitchell. And at 35, I'd finally found the courage to follow my heart. Even if it meant walking away from my family's wealth and status. Paraphrased. I'm Sarah Mitchell. And at 35, I finally had the guts to pursue what I truly wanted. Despite it meaning I would give up my family's money and reputation. Original. After 15 years of being the perfect corporate daughter, Stanford Business School, VP position at Mitchell Enterprises, the whole 9 yards, was choosing love over luxury. And boy, did that throw my family into chaos. Paraphrased, for 15 years, I was the ideal corporate daughtery, graduated from Stanford Business School, became a VP at Mitchell Enterprises, and checked all the boxes. Now, I was prioritizing love over a lavish life. And it completely turned my family's world upside down. The defense original. He's not just a farmer. Dad, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Jack runs one of the most successful organic farms in the valley. He's educated, hardworking. Paraphrased. He's more than just a farmer, Dad, I said, my voice intentionally calm. Jack is the owner of a very successful organic farm in this area. He's smart and dedicated. Original. He's nobody. My dad cut me off. While you were learning to run a billion-dollar company, he was probably learning to milk cows. Is that what you want to throw away everything we've built for you to become a farmer's wife? Paraphrased, my father interrupted me, saying, Hizin, shi gunificanto. You were being prepared to lead a billion-dollar business while he was likely learning how to milk cows. Is this what you really want? To give up everything we created for you just to be a farmer's wife? The origin story original. The irony is, I met Jack Wilson at one of my dad's own charity galas. Paraphrased. The funny thing is, I actually met Jack Wilson at a charity event hosted by my father. Original. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He was filling in for another local business owner, but there he was in a slightly outdated suit, talking passionately about sustainable agriculture and his vision for the future. Paraphrased. He was there as a last-minute replacement for another local business person. He wore a somewhat old-fashioned suit and spoke with incredible enthusiasm about sustainable farming and his plans for the future. Original. While other men at these events usually tried to impress me with their stock portfolios or vacation homes, Jack spoke about soil conservation and helping small farmers thrive. Paraphrased, in contrast to the other men at these gatherings, who would talk about their investments or second homes. Jack's conversation focused on preserving soil and helping smaller farms succeed. The decision original. I've already made up my mind, I told them, standing up straighter. I'm moving in with Jack next week. The wedding's in 3 months, and I hope you'll be there. Paraphrased, my decision is final, I declared, standing taller. I'm moving in with Jack next week. We're getting married in 3 months, and I'd like you to be at the wedding. Original. If you walk out that door, my father said, his voice cold, don't expect to keep your position here, or your trust fund, or anything else from this family. Paraphrased, my father's tone was icy as he warned me, if you leave, you can forget about your job here, your inheritance, and anything else tied to this family. Original. I looked around the office one last time, the family photos on the wall. Oh, perfectly staged, of course. The views of downtown Seattle, the life I was supposed to want. Paraphrased. I took one final look at the office, the staged family photos on the wall, the Seattle skyline outside the window, and the life I was expected to desire. Original. Then I placed my company ID and credit cards on his desk. Goodbye, Dad, Mom, Madison. Paraphrased, I put my company ID badge and credit cards on his desk. Farewell, Dad, Mom, Madison. Original. I turned and walked out, my heels clicking on the marble floors for the last time. Paraphrased, with a final click of my heels on the marble floor. I turned and left Original behind me. I could hear my mom's quiet sobs and Madison's whispered, she's lost it completely. Paraphrased. As I walked away, I heard my mother's soft crying and Madison's hushed comment, she's completely gone mad. The new reality original. When I tell people I gave up a 7-figure salary and a corner office to live on a farm, they usually think I had some sort of mental breakdown. Paraphrased. When I mentioned that I left a high-paying job and a top-floor office to live on a farm, most people assume I've had a complete breakdown. Original. The reality. Living in Jack's farmhouse these past 6 months has brought me more peace than 20 years in corporate America ever did. Paraphrased. In truth, the 6 months I've spent living in Jack's farmhouse have been more peaceful than my entire career in the corporate world. Original. Sure, the transition wasn't easy. Trading my Tesla for a pickup truck, my Louboutins for work boots, my penthouse for a century-old farmhouse sit was a shock to the system. Paraphrased. Of course, the change was challenging. Swapping my Tesla for a truck, my designer shoes for work boots, and my high-rise apartment for a 100-year-old farmhouse was a major adjustment. Original. The first time I had to help deliver a calf at 3 a.m. I almost called my driver, out of habit before remembering this was my life. Now, paraphrased, the first time I had to assist with a calf delivery in the middle of the night. My initial thought was to call my driver, until I remembered this was my life. Now, original, but there was something real about it all. Something my previous life had lacked. Paraphrased. But there was a genuine quality to this life that my old one was missing. The families continued. Oposición original. My family's reaction was exactly what you'd expect My mom sent daily texts about good matches from her country club circle. Madison kept forwarding job listings from competing companies. My dad maintained radio silence, though his secretary called monthly to remind me what I was giving up, the trust fund, the connections, the real life they thought I deserved. Paraphrased. My family responded just as I anticipated. My mom would text me daily with potential suitors from her social group, while Madison would send me job openings at rival firms. My dad didn't contact me directly, but his secretary would call every month to remind me of what I was sacrificing, my inheritance, my network, and the proper life they believed I should have, the twist original I was helping. Jack reviews some property documents when something caught my eye. The farm's boundaries extended far beyond what I'd originally thought, including a pristine piece of lakefront property, paraphrased, while I was assisting Jack with some paperwork for the property. I noticed something interesting. The farm's borders were much larger than I had realized, and they included a beautiful piece of land on the lake. Original. Oh yeah, Jack said casually. Your father's company has been trying to buy that land for months. They've offered way above market value, but my grandfather promised to keep it agricultural. It's some of the best soil in the valley. Paraphrasedo. Right? Jack said nonchalantly, your dad's company has been trying to buy that land for a while. They've offered a lot more than it's worth, but my grandfather made a promise to keep it as farmland. The soil there is incredibly rich. Original. I sat there, stunned, as the implications sank in. My dad's big resort project, the one he'd been bragging about at every board meeting, couldn't happen without this land. And it belonged to the man he dismissed as just a farmer. Paraphrased. I was shocked as I understood the situation. My father's major resort project, which he had been boasting about at every meeting, was impossible without this specific piece of land. And this land belonged to the very man he had called just a farmer. The sudden change of heart. Original. Sarah, darling, my mom's voice dripped with sudden sweetness. We've been thinking about your situation. Perhaps we were too hasty. Why don't you and Jack come to dinner on Sunday? Paraphrased. My mom's voice was suddenly very sweet. Sarah, dear, she said, we've been thinking things over. Maybe we acted too quickly. How about you and Jack join us for dinner this Sunday? Original. I nearly dropped my basket after 6 months of cold shoulders and disapproving messages. This sudden change of heart was suspicious. Paraphrased. I almost dropped the basket I was holding. After a half year of being ignored and receiving critical messages, this abrupt shift in their attitude seemed very suspicious. Original. Standing there in my muddy boots, surrounded by clucking chickens, I finally understood. They must have discovered Jack owned the land. This wasn't about accepting my choices. It was about securing their business interests. Paraphrased, I was standing there in my mud-covered boots, with chickens making noise around me, and I finally got it. They must have found out Jack owned the land. Their sudden kindness wasn't about accepting my decision. It was a move to protect their business plans. The original Sunday dinner at the Mitchell Mansion was exactly the power play I expected. Paraphrased. Dinner at the Mitchell family's home that Sunday unfolded exactly as I predicted, a calculated display of power Original. Jack, my boy. My dad boomed as we entered, acting like he hadn't spent months calling Jack a gold-digging nobody. Welcome to our home. Sarah tells us, you're quite the entrepreneur yourself. Paraphrased, Jack, my boy, my father said loudly when we arrived, pretending he hadn't spent months calling Jack a worthless opportunist. Come on in. Sarah tells me you're a real businessman. Original. Throughout dinner, my dad expertly steered the conversation toward business. You know, Jack, your sustainable farming methods are fascinating. Have you ever considered expanding with the right investment partner? Paraphrased. During the meal, my dad skillfully guided the discussion toward business. Jack, your approach to sustainable farming is impressive. Have you thought about growing your business with the right financial partner? Original. With all due respect, sir. Jack replied, that land isn't for sale at any price. It's not about money. It's about keeping a promise and protecting something valuable. Paraphrased. I mean, no disrespect, sir, Jack responded, but that land is not available for purchase at any cost. It's not a matter of money. It's about honoring a promise and preserving something precious. Original. Everything has a price. Son, name it. My dad's face darkened. Paraphrased. My father's expression grew angry. Everyone has their price, young man. What's yours? Original. Not everything, Mr. Mitchell. Not integrity. Not promises. And not your daughter's trust. Paraphrased. Not everything, Mr. Mitchell. Things like integrity, promises, and your daughter's trust aren't for sale. Original. If you walk away now, don't come crawling back when you're tired of playing farmer's wife. There won't be a place for you here anymore. Paraphrased. If you leave right now, don't come back asking for help when you get sick of pretending to be a farmer's wife. There will be no home for you here. Original. There hasn't been a real place for me here in years. Dad, I said quietly. I was just too afraid to admit it. But I'm not afraid anymore. Paraphrased. I haven't felt like I belonged here in years, Dad, I said softly. I was just too scared to admit it. But I'm not scared anymore. The outcome original, the aftermath of that dinner sent shockwaves through Seattle's business community. Paraphrased, that dinner caused a major stir in Seattle's business world. Original, he underestimated both Jack's reputation and my own business savvy. Paraphrased, he didn't realize how respected Jack was and how skilled. I was in business. Original. My mom's weekly visits. She started small, helping with the herb garden. But now she manages our entire flower program. Paraphrased. My mom now visits us every week. She began by simply helping with the herbs, but she now oversees all of our flowers. Original. My dad's transformation has been more subtle, but just as meaningful. Paraphrased. My father's change has been less obvious, but it's just as important. Original. He's helped us expand our reach. Mitchell Enterprises now partners with small farms across the state, proving that profit and sustainability can coexist. Paraphrased, he's helped us grow our business. Now, Mitchell Enterprises works with small farms all over the state, showing that it's possible for a company to be both profitable and environmentally responsible. Original. Jack and I still laugh about how it all started my family's horror at their perfect corporate daughter falling for a farmer. P-A-R-A-P-H-R-A-S-E-D. Jack and I often laugh about the beginning of our story, how horrified my family was that their ideal corporate daughter was in love with a farmer. Original. We didn't just save a piece of land, we helped heal a family. Paraphrased. We did more than just protect a piece of property. We helped our family mend its relationships. Original. I said, I don't think I chose between my family and the farm after all. I just helped them see there was room for both. Paraphrased. You know what? I said, I don't think I had to pick between my family and the farm. I just helped them realize that both could be a part of our lives